How many of you have a background in psychology? Yeah? So you know J.J. Gibson? Yeah? So you know there's all sorts of different branches in psychology. Experimental psychology, ecological psychology, all sorts of cognitive psychology, different branches. And J.J. Gibson was considered in his time a bit of a radical because he had a theory of psychology that went against the grain of everybody else. And his theory of psychology was you didn't need all this mental processing. You know, you see the camera, and it's not like you get the image in your eye and then you have to go through the mental representations until the word camera gets pulled out and then you go, oh yes, now I see a camera. He argued the point that perception was direct, with no necessity for all this kind of representational, cognitive, high intensity, higher order processing. No, it's just like that. Bingo. That you pick up information in the environment. And that's where this idea, which he coined this term, affordance, that certain aspects of the environment immediately communicate to you because of your physical structure and your sensory capacities and also your motor capacities. In other words, how your sensory organs are designed and how your body is designed to move. Some parts of the environment just literally speak to you directly. For instance, I have this sort of expansive surface out in front of me. That registers to me as this is a surface that I can walk on. How early did you find that out? This is a surface I can lie on. This is a surface I can roll on. Yeah, so these kinds of things, as a human being, this is a surface I can walk on in a bipedal fashion. Other animals have the same process. Yeah, this surface would be something to walk on. And here's where the important part is. An affordance is always defined relatively. So let's say I was a six-legged ant. Yep. That pillar would afford walking on. Yep. An ant can walk up that pillar. Me, Zoran Kovic, no way. I can't walk on that, but an ant can. So the pillar affords walking for an ant, but me, being the kind of creature I am, with my capacities and my massive body, that doesn't afford walking. If you look around this room, tune yourself into this question. What affords throwing? What affords throwing? Don't look at me like that. For some of you, yes, I would afford throwing. But notice, as you look around the room and you have that question in mind, you look at some objects and you go, not a problem, I could throw that. But you look at some other objects and you go, not sure. For you, it doesn't afford throwing. If it's really big and massive, you go, no, I can't throw that. Now, Feldenkrais knew this through judo. How quickly you could sum up a person. Throwable, not throwable. But in judo, everybody becomes throwable. How? Through skill. Huh? Yeah, through skill. When you know a particular skill, in other words, a particular way of using your body in relationship to somebody else, you can throw anybody. You can throw someone 4 times your size. You can still throw them. So then affordances also change according to your knowledge, your skilled use of yourself. Does that make sense? So it's not a static concept. As you know different things, different affordances come out. So the affordance is not in the environment. This is the important part. It's not out there. and it kind of is out there, and it's not in here, and it kind of is in here. It's kind of this relationship between me as an organism, what's in the environment, and then my history of experiences. Yeah. Is that clear? Yep.
Sometimes you can go so wrong.
Say that?
Sometimes you can go so wrong with
Yeah. Yes. Yes, of course. Yeah. So you can think that something's liftable, but then you encounter it and you discover it is not liftable. And yet it's still initially an affordance. It affords lifting, and then you discover, ooh, can't do it. So remember this morning I constructed that argument that Feldenkrais had this notion of a nervous system inside a body and then a body inside an environment. So you have nervous system, body, environment, and he talks it in terms of envelopes. You know, one is an envelope for the other, which is another envelope for another. So in a funny kind of a way, and this is a really weird way of talking, so take it as that. So the nervous system is interacting with the environment of the body. So you could say the nervous system has affordances relative to the body. So the hand can be a grasping tool. The hand can be a measuring tool. A hand can be what other sort of tool? So the hand affords toolness. Yeah. Legs afford walkingness. Yeah. Does that make sense? It's a bit abstract, it's a bit strange, but it's a way of talking. Now this has been a lead-in for an exercise that would be interesting for you to explore, because in this method that you're learning, we use all sorts of different positions. Did you notice? And I think way back in 2003, we did a little bit of a research kind of thing amongst ourselves in a training program, looking at how many positions that Feldenkrais used, not only in awareness through movement, but in his functional integration lessons. And I think we came up with 55 distinct positions, each with a slightly different affordance. So this exercise that you're about to do is the beginnings of an investigation for yourself about what body positions afford. Now, can I wipe this out here? So, you'll be dividing up into 4 groups, and each group will be investigating one of these. And that will be your research, just that, and then you'll come back and you share your information. And the first thing you want to ask is, if you're lying on your back, which directions in space are freely accessible to you? In other words, which directions can you move yourself freely without encountering obstacles? So which directions are afforded by that position? And the second question is, when you're lying on your back, which movements are afforded lying in that position?
It's orientation and repetition.
Yes, spot on. Great. Yep. Yes, so then therefore this one's to do with orientation and this one's to do with manipulation.
What did you say?
I just repeated it, yeah? So this is about what is in this particular position, which orientations in space can you move in, what's afforded, and this one is what kinds of manipulations are afforded in that position. I'm just looking at faces. No, it's not quite. Yes, it's okay. You can say no. Now she's going shriek. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. All right, you'll work it out as you go. So please, could you divide yourself into 4 reasonably equal-sized groups and one group explore this, no overlap. So the quicker you form your group, the quicker you can select. Yeah? And then the quicker you can get on with the task. So off you go. Who's gonna be in this group here, lying on the back? Okay, lying on the back. Who's going to be on the front? Front, going once, going close. Here's the front, yep, okay, lying on the front. Lying on the side to here, lying on the side. Lying on the side for Ray with 6 peanuts now. And sitting. You're left over. Thank you very much.